see, what's really amazing about the Bible is that the words of the Bible are really tomorrow's headlines. And they've already been written. They're already in place. You see, Russia has been looking to the south for many, many years. See, it's back from 1453 when Muhammad II pushed the Byzantine Empire and Byzantine Emperor and the Church out of St. Sophia's in Constantinople, that Russia has had its designs on going back there and retaking St. Sophia's, which by all accounts is the Vatican of the Eastern Orthodox religion. It was taken in 1453, and over again it's been stated that they want it back. In fact, the Russian crosses on the roof of the Kremlin, you'll notice they're a little peculiar. There's a cross, but what's underneath those crosses? Well, it's the crescent moon. Because Russia has made the vow for many, many centuries that they will return to Constantinople, and they will take Constantinople, and they will take back the city of Constantinople and St. Sophia's. So we have, in the Bible then, the headlines of tomorrow already recorded for us. And that is that Russia is going to invade Turkey. This is written in the Persian Post by a prophet Daniel, a correspondent living in Babylon in 539 BC. And he says, at the time of the end shall the king of the south push at him, that's Turkey, and the king of the north will come against him with like a whirlwind, with chariots and horsemen and many ships, and he's going to enter into the countries and overflow and pass over. So St. Sophia's, after 560 years, is going to return to the Greek Orthodox Church. And so, or the Russian Orthodox Church or the Eastern Orthodox religion. The invasion of Turkey then is given to us. This is what is described for us, that they're going to come down into Turkey, but it's not just going to stop there, but it's going to pass over, and it's going to enter into Turkey, and then it's going to continue on into the rest of the Middle East, because it's going to overrun further than that right into the area close to Israel. The same prophet Daniel, reporting from Babylon 2,554 years ago, tells us that he's going to enter into the most glorious land, which is Israel. Many countries are going to be overthrown, in fact, but the ones that are going to escape out of his hand is Edom, Moab, and the chief of the children of Ammon, which we call Jordan today. So Israel, the glorious land, is going to be overrun, but Jordan's going to be under Western protection. The coalition basically will protest the invasion, but not really be able to do a whole lot to stop it. So they're going to move on from here down into the area of Israel, but the ring of Western powers are going to stop them from entering to Jordan, the Ammon, Moab, and Ammon that we read about in the book of Ezekiel and of Daniel. However, they're going to move on from there, and the prophets tell us that Russia is going to invade Egypt. Daniel goes on to say that he shall stretch forth his hand upon the countries and the land of Egypt, and he will have power over the treasures of gold and silver and over the precious things of Egypt, and the Libyans and the Ethiopians are also going to be at his steps, or as it's put in another translation, marching in his footsteps. So Russia then is also going to move down and is going to invade Egypt itself, right into the area of the south, going through Israel and into Egypt. And the prophet Isaiah describes how it will be given to the hand of a cruel Lord. But there's going to be rumors, intelligence reports that are going to take place that are going to cause the Russians to leave. Russians will withdraw to target Israel. Intelligence reports will spread panic in the Kremlin. We read in Daniel 11:44, tidings out of the east and out of the north will trouble him. Therefore he shall go forth with great fury and destroy and utterly to make away many. So they're going to turn their forces around, wheeling them out of the land of Egypt and heading up into the land of Israel, where the great battle of Armageddon is finally going to take place. It's going to be a terrible time, and the headline again has already been written. That is that Jerusalem is going to fall. Israel, as it currently stands, is going to collapse. Its current government is going to be brought down. Russians are going to basically take the city, pillage it. The inhabitants are going to be taken captive, and prayer vigil will be given by desperate Jews, as we read elsewhere. Zechariah 14, verse 2 So here's a prophet. This is the Judean times. He's writing in 520 BC, describing the scene inside the city. I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle. That's the gathering. Ezekiel, Zechariah, Daniel, and so on. And the city shall be taken, the houses rifled, the women ravished. Half the city shall go forth into captivity, but the residue of the people shall not be cut off. It's not going to be a complete victory. There still will be a remnant that remain there. And Joel describes also how they will pray to God. In fact, what they're going to do is establish their headquarters right in the middle of the city of Jerusalem. The Russian headquarters will be established in Jerusalem. The Temple Mount will be the Russian HQ. Israel resistance will be wiped out, and thousands will flee to Jordan. So much for honoring their agreement with the Arabs. They want the holy places for themselves. Remember that whole crescent moon under the cross? That's really what's going to happen. Once the Arab pawn is no longer needed, they'll just toss it to the side. He will plant his tabernacles of his palaces between the seas in the glorious holy mountain, which of course is Mount Zion. And the Middle East will be plunged into the great battle of Armageddon, as the prophet John, writing in the Patmos Press, has to tell us, Middle East Armageddon. Divine intervention, though, is going to destroy armies in Israel. So the kings will go forth which go forth to the kings of the earth, the whole world, gathering them to the battle of the great day of God Almighty. He gathers them together to a place called, in the Hebrew tongue, Armageddon. And then the prophets tell us that this is when divine intervention